Welcome to Digging Up the Underground on QSJ Radio. This is Unremembered by Nan Avant. We're haunting the early score for the film Unremembered. The music explores memory, identity, and the spaces between what we hold and what we forget. It's cinematic, intimate, and shows the very beginnings of Nan's journey. I'm your host, Dave, QSJ Radio, MadLuh, and today we're talking to the woman behind the music, an award-winning composer whose work spans orchestral, cinematic, Latin, and jazz worlds. From early films like Unremembered to her recent award-winning orchestral works, Nan Avant continues to push boundaries with each project. Nan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for taking time to talk to us during your busy schedule, because I've seen you all over the place, red carpets. Congratulations. I'm like, does she know who she's coming to see? But I do got questions from the earlier times. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start with Unremembered. It marks one of your earliest film scoring projects. What drew you to that story, and how do you translate its themes of memory and identity into music?
Well, that film was an indie film from Seattle, well, actually Oregon, Seattle-based. I'm here. So I was introduced to the director, and he asked me to, write the score. I just thought the acting was really good. It was very good for an indie film. His directing was great. The idea of like a history of, in the back, in the past, in the present, all these things were going on in that film. And it gave me some time to really express different themes. I try to make a theme for the characters, like there's Callie's theme. There were things that happened in the film that I just tried to make that the thematic approach, because I stick to themes. You probably heard that in my music. It's very tonal and melodic, and I was driven to make it, each particular scene, something interesting. And then it was electronic. I used a lot of I think I was using, what was I using for that? Digital Performer, I think, at that time. And I moved on to Logic Pro when I do that kind of stuff. But I used my DAW and electronic sounds. And I'm actually a classically trained pianist. So when I write music like that, I'm on a keyboard.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can see these keyboards, but I'm on a keyboard.
If you guys don't see, there's like 30 keyboards.
There's a million. Well, I kind of had to do something new because, some of these programs are changing. So so I play on the keyboard, so I'm skilled at playing the piano, and then it translates into the written score as I'm doing it. And then I edit it, and you know how it is to edit things and audio. And I mean, you're fiddling with sound and reverb and everything for a long time. So that was Unremembered. It was a great film.
And you did the whole soundtrack.
They did. It was a lot of music.
It sounds like it was tiring. When you say like,
it was interesting. It was interesting. There was a deadline, I think. I work great with deadlines.
Okay.
He asked me to do it, and I think there was 45 minutes of, 45 minutes of music in there.
There was a lot.
Which is a lot for a film. But I think the film was an hour and a half. So I took up half of it with the music. So it took some time. It's hours and hours and hours and days, weeks.
I heard the Seattle-based, growing up between the Pacific Northwest and a household rich in South American tradition, which early musical experience shaped you to write today? Because Latin America, South American is way different than what you're doing right now.
It's true. It's true. So my father was from Peru. His mother was Peruvian. His father was American. So he ended up in the States eventually in his 20s. And so, but my mother was an artist and she listened to music a lot. We had records playing, the good old fashioned record stereo,
Nice. Yeah.
and lots of musicals, symphonic work. So I heard that a lot when I was growing up. And I loved it. So that was in the background. As far as the Spanish music, I think more tangos than anything else, because
Mm.
Peru is more identified with, there are some waltzes from the Peruvian waltzes are beautiful, and I heard those. And then the tangos from Argentina, because we would have relatives that come up and they'd bring recordings to our house and, share that music. And
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
they always take the we cut, aux cord, but they always take over the DJ. They always want to DJ. Like, let me bring this stuff, and which is good
Yeah,
stuff. It's good
it is good
stuff.
stuff.
It is.
It is good stuff. And
So
I got a chance actually. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
that's all right.
I was just going to say I did get a chance to live in Peru.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
That's
My
great.
sister and I got to live there for like 6 months with our relatives on my dad's side. It was great. Just an immersive, incredible experience. Just, you know, loved it.
Oh my! So you were the white girl when you went down there. You.
Well, I got a little
I
olive
mean,
skin.
you got a little bit of, you know what I mean? I was
I
just
was the
saying,
American.
when you go down there, they always say something. Your early influences range from Debussy to Piazzolla to even like, I know I messed that name up, to jazz pianist. Now
Yes.
I used to stay up late in New York City and have the free cable channel and have the jazz pianos are like all over the place.
Mm.
It's never 1, 2, 3, 4. It's more like they're freestyling. When you
Hmm.
begin composing, how do you decide which musical tradition to lean on?
Sometimes it's because someone's asked me to do it, you
Oh,
know. So yeah, so I've been invited to write something, um, like for instance, the jazz. I always loved jazz because I got to hear some live jazz in LA when I lived in that area. And I was asked to write something for a jazz-based concert. And so I ended up well, had done a little bit of jazz lessons on piano. And I couldn't say I was a jazz pianist, really, because that's a huge, deep,
that's a lot.
you know,
It,
that's a lot. I would
this
never compare myself to a jazz pianist, but I've dabbled in it and I learned a little bit of that. And I improvise anyway because I write music, and that's kind of how it comes out is improvisation. But I studied that, and then I was asked to write something for a jazz concert ensemble, and I thought, well, I think I better study some of this and really learn how to do charts because charts were not on my orchestral writing list. Everything's detailed in orchestral. So I learned how to. I went to the Berkeley School of Music online, and I did some online study, and I learned how to just hone in and do that and do some parts for these for the concert. And that's so
yeah.
I focus when it's the time to focus for that. I focus. Yeah.
The I got
So
quick question here. So we're talking early stages. If you guys are just tuning in, we're here with Nan Avant, and we're talking about her early score on Unremembered. Growing up between the Northwest Pacific, guys. Okay, we're the corner of America over there on the other side, um, and going all the way down to South America, and influences from classical artist to jazz pianist. But my thing is, where did this all start? Is this something that you just picked up and somebody threw you behind the guitar center to to train with people? Like, You know, like sometimes pianists are like forced to do this. You know, at least the movies I saw.
Yeah. I started piano when I was 7, and piano lessons were a weekly thing. I walked after school. I'd walk to the piano teacher's house and have my lessons. It was classical. And when I was about 14, I found a teacher that I was connected with that was in Seattle,
Okay.
and she was great. She was, we had to commute. It was a bit of a commute from the country to Seattle, like 45 minutes. And she opened my eyes to music and interpretation. And sorry, my cat's going a little crazy behind
It's
me.
okay.
She just left. So she opened up my vision, my ears to expression and how to really play the piano with depth and meaning. So got into that. And then in high school, I started to write music. I was just, making it up. And I was doing the kind of music that was similar to what I was playing as a pianist, what I was learning as a student of piano. And like I did some music that was like Scarlatti. I wrote something that sounded like Scarlatti. I did something that sounded like Mozart, and some Russian music that I was kind of, doing that. So I started to do that, writing music in high school. And then I decided I wanted to major in music for college. But there was that interim of going to Hawaii
Oh my.
that,
Oh my.
yes, that's the connection in there. I went to Hawaii right out of high school. I had a job there, worked there, and then I went to music college. After a few months of being in Hawaii, I decided I got to get going and,
Yeah.
Get into learning more about music.
So I'll take a little quick break here. I did see something about this little timer here. We'll fix that here in a second. The Sirens of Salish Sea. This is award-winning song. Cinematic exploration of the Pacific Northwest airwaves, blending haunting violin lines, orchestral texture to evoke the spirit of the sea. Me as a sailor, I didn't travel those areas, but I can. Atlantic is a little bit more dangerous than the Pacific. That's how I feel. But
So,
and hearing this and knowing how we'll take a little break. We'll get people to listen to it real quick. And wow, it's just an amazing thing because this is years later. And it all just keeps coming round and round and very intimate with it. So here is Sirens of the Salish Sea. I'm probably saying, am I saying that wrong? Salish?
yeah, it's Salish.
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 Oh, let me just stop.
It's close. You're close.
On QSJ Radio.
Okay.
You started branching into orchestral commissions and collaborations with ensembles. How did your approach change when moving from film scores to full orchestra work?
That was just a hugely great opportunity to go real orchestra, full orchestra. So it changed. Well, I studied orchestration. I did that actually when I studied film scoring. The teacher was heavily into film scoring with orchestra. We did do that um, for the classes and things. But when I went into writing for concert orchestral works, which I love to do, that was again an eye opener with being able to express everything my way, the way I want it, how it came out, how it felt. And like I mentioned earlier, when I start out music, when I'm writing, I'm starting on the piano.
Yeah.
So everything is written for the piano, the whole score, the whole thing, the whole piece. And then I start developing it to be orchestrated. I start orchestrating it, for all the instruments, flutes, woodwinds,
Yeah.
oboes, the whole thing. And it changes things. Like, for instance, that piece that we listened to, Serenely Sailing, Sirens of the Salish Sea, the fourth movement, was originally written for solo piano.
Just
Just,
wow.
I know, right?
Wow. There's
So,
no
I
way.
know. So, and I look back at it thinking, okay, I wrote that in 2020. It was during the whole, lockdown and
Mm.
everything. So it was a very expressive time for me. And I wrote it as a quintet suite. The whole thing was a quintet suite, 5 movements. And, but that particular movement, the fourth movement, was just piano. And I looked at that earlier today just to kind of review what I had done. It was only like a page and a half of piano music. It was very short,
This is
but it was condensed. Well, I expanded it. As you can hear,
well.
I made it into.
Let me identify this for some people who don't understand. When someone says like a sheet and a half of music, if you ever looked at like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star has like 5 pages on his own. You know, and so a one and a half is wow. And
Hardly anything. So when I decided to orchestrate everything and then I got to that piece, I thought, well, first of all, I made it more expansive with just the extra instruments. I added,
yeah,
the cello, viola. I had clarinet. I'm not sure if I had clarinet in that movement, but I added it. And then when I fully orchestrated it to a full orchestra that you can hear with the Royal Scottish National Orchestra, um, I had to expand it. I had to lengthen it. I had to make it into much more, not only expansive lengthwise, but widthwise, making it longer and adding a little bit more to it. It's still short. It's for a piece of music that's orchestral, still like, I don't know, a couple of minutes, maybe at the most,
wow,
which is short.
yeah.
But yeah, it's so fun to orchestrate though, because I love to say, okay, what do I hear? I want to add like those. I have cymbal, what are they called? Finger cymbals.
Finger symbol.
It's like it's like a ringing thing. It's like,
Oh yeah,
like belly dancers
yeah,
have their,
yeah.
right. Okay. I had those in the actual quintet version of that. I kept that in that orchestral work. If you listen, you can hear these clinking little kind of a Middle Eastern sound in there. So it's really cool to orchestrate because you have so many options. There's everything in that.
I'm gonna play a little bit of
Every
more of
option.
it real quick, so we can
Okay.
do what we spoke to about,
Okay.
and we'll be right back. Before we get into this beautiful piece here, Nani Lahaina, tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. Nani Lahaina. First of all, Nani is the word for beautiful in Hawaiian. So Lahaina is in the island of Maui, Hawaii. So that's really close to where, as far as, what people know in Seattle, we know Hawaii, we know Lahaina, we knew Lahaina. So what happened was, I'll just kind of briefly say that in 2023, I was invited to write a new orchestral work for violin and orchestra for the London Symphony Orchestra with the Parma Recording Company. So there were several composers invited to do this. And they said, a requirement is obviously the violin and orchestra, under 5 minutes or less, and something loosely connected to the environment. So at first I thought, what would I do? But
I'm trying to figure this out. Do they sit there and say, okay, it has to have this, or is it something discussed? Is it brainstorm?
I'm sure.
Okay, because
was
it something they're looking for, and then you had it in your back pocket, or is it something that got drawn out?
Had to be brand new.
Oh,
had to be brand new. Yeah.
Wow.
Had to be a new work. Well, actually, it could have been. I don't know. For me, it had to be new, but there could have been people that had redone something that was about the environment, and people do. They write about the environment. So within 2 weeks or so, there was that huge winds and fires that took place in Lahaina.
Oh, yes.
It was August of 2023. And it was devastating. So background a little bit is that I had mentioned earlier that right out of high school, I had actually gone with my cousin and we had jobs in Lahaina.
Wow.
We worked in Lahaina and we lived just, right there near the town. So I knew Lahaina. I was there for like 5 months. That town was such a cool town. It was a whaling village built in the 1800s. And of course, it was touristy. They had lots of shops and they had the big banyan tree that was across the street, which was hundreds of years or 100 years old or more. And so when I saw this taking place on the media, the fires, really the footage was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Tear-jerking, and that people are running out into the water to save themselves because the roads were blocked off. It's an island, and they were trying to go up to the the evacuation point, but they couldn't do it. So over 100 people perished in that fire. The town was demolished completely. Whatever I knew was gone, and so it kind of stirred up a lot of emotions for me. And I thought, well, this is the environment I'm going to write about. Wow. And so I put my heart and soul in that. And I got to record it with, we recorded it, when was that? June of 2024. You spend months on things and you get it all prepped and ready to go, and you send it to the recording company, and they get it to the orchestra and to the violinist. And I got to be there. My husband and I traveled to London to the recording session, which are very short. We're talking 50 minutes. The recording session.
You go all the way over there for an hour meeting.
Well, you do a little tourism and
stuff.
Of course. But it's such a quick, they're just right on. So, they can do it in an hour. They can record your thing in an hour, and then they're on to the next piece in the recording session. But I got to meet the violinist, who was from Italy, just passionate player. And he was playing a Stradivarius violin, which are those very famous, I don't know if you remember the movie, The Red Violin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was actually a red violin that he was playing. I know. So,
I can only imagine you hitting your husband on the shoulder, like, well, look at that.
I got to have a picture with him.
Oh, that's great.
It was cool. It was really cool. So part of that composition was that I tried to incorporate, I wanted to focus in on the wind. The fact the wind was what happened. You know, power lines blew down in Lahaina and then the fires ignited. But the wind was my focus. So I spent a lot of time thinking, how am I going to get this wind in the orchestra? Well, what am I going to do? Yeah. So I went through, I'll try to be brief because I'm kind of lengthy in my discussions.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
So I started to think, well, what would flutes do? You know, what will a flute do if I have like a flutter flute and creating a sound, right? So I saw a flute teacher and I had her do some things that I was writing, you know, demonstration. And I thought, okay, I'll put that to the side, think of another thing. And then I thought about violin, and I found a violin demonstration online by a teacher up in Toronto who blew through the violin. They're called the F holes of the violin. And it creates, believe it or not, a wind sound.
What?
A real, no kidding. It's like but it's resonating. I know. It's resonating. I know. What? So I found that. And then I did some, you know, emailing to her, and I said, you know, this is great. And how did you do that and everything? And then she said, well, you're going to have microphones. When you're doing this in an orchestra, you're going to have them mic'd because it's gentle. You know, it's a soft sound.
Oh, yeah.
So but miking it would make it more powerful.
Yeah.
So I then started to work with my DAW, my digital workstation, and I started to record. Like I have a violin. I play a little bit of violin. I blew into my violin, recorded it, made an audio, you know, tape of it, recording of it, and then I used my DAW to do like an extra sound. I was thinking of like the wind with like the bass drum, like a roll, so that it had like a deep resonating. You know how the wind isn't just a whistling; it's actually can be this thunderous sound, a little bit. You know,
when
so then
things are scary.
Then I thought, so then I thought, well, I've got to reach further than that, because miking up all these violinists in London Symphony Orchestra, and I have an hour, and then making sure this works in a live recording session, I thought, I think I need to think out of the box a little bit. And so I contacted a percussionist that I know in Seattle, and he was in the department, University in Birmingham, and he had access to what's called a wind machine. So the wind machine, so the wind machine, orchestras, not all orchestras have them, but some orchestras do. The wind machine was developed, I think, around the time of Tchaikovsky. So, or they used it in something he did. And so I went for a lesson with my percussionist friend, and we did something together. He played the wind machine. And if you go to my website, you can see on YouTube, I have like a video doing this together. He's playing the wind machine, which is a big drum type of thing that you crank. Huge drum thing. You crank it and it makes this whooshing sound. And then I was on a bass drum, and he showed me, well, to get that sound you want, you need to do this with a tremolo thing on the bass drum. So we did like a video together, and I thought, this is what I'm looking for. This is the sound I want in my piece, Nani Lahaina.
Yeah.
So I'm really getting to the point of what I did. So
no, I'm there with you, because I'm thinking like, this is a lot, but it all works out. Go ahead. I'm
so I have that at the beginning of the piece. Yeah. I start with a drum roll that I have the bass drum player in the London Symphony Orchestra. We do that for a few seconds, and then the wind machine comes in, and they do that for several measures for a few seconds, and then I have I think I have the flutes coming in, trailing with a little bit of their flourish of wind sound, and then eventually the violins do their tremolo that they're going to do for the simulation of wind. The wind machine comes out. It's not there the whole time. It's just at the beginning, and then we continue with the melodic violin playing a really passionate melody for Lahaina. But onward in the piece is this the sound of, it could either be wind or the ocean or, something moving, something underneath the melody. So that's where that came from.
It's one thing when some people, they could just get in their emotions, right? You can speak it, they have a tone, they have this, they have that. When you're putting instruments to it, instruments that what it's supposed to sound like, but I don't know how to play it. Who knows how to play this? And it's so lovely that you got all these resources that you could just be like,
Yes.
hey, you ever and then they're like, yeah, we can do that. And then you're like, yeah, great, let's figure this out. And you put all these things together, and then all of a sudden, you got this beautiful collaboration with what it was. David is in there. London Symphony is in there. And then all of a sudden, silver medal, Global Music Awards winner. Congratulations. And best classical composition in 2025 for Rhapsody for Violin and Orchestra. Congratulations on that. Let me just throw those little things in there. But I want people to hear it real quick, and then we'll go on into what you got going on now.
Super.
I can hear the wind machine now. No way that's a machine. No way that's an instrument.
It's not bad. I'll give you a link to my video sometime.
I'll watch it. I'll get you.
Yeah.
Can hear more of Nani Lahaina on Spotify, on YouTube, anywhere, major platforms for streaming, or you can even go to Nan Avant's website, and everything will be there for you at nanavant.com. So these songs, radio guys, me as a young artist, we don't hear these songs until we're in public radio kind of format, things like that. But there's a whole community of you guys. It's like you guys are keeping traditional music alive, well, and full strive. Where are these songs going that we as somebody will make a song and they'll just throw it online, and they're good, and they're across their fingers, and they'll go viral, and they'll be used, and all this basic pop type of environment. But this community, this is a different place. This is I feel protected music genre. That some of where does it go? Where do you feel like is the need, or is the want for songs like these?
Those are for orchestral performances. I think live performance with orchestra. So obviously every town, city, you're going to have community orchestra. You're going to have symphony orchestras. We have the Seattle Symphony, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they they will pick up some things sometimes, and play them, have them in their programs. Um, the community is the classical community. So there are specific recording companies that record just classical. I think it's called, is it Decca? And Deutsche Grammophon,
Okay.
Germany based.
Yeah.
So I know when Nani Lahaina came out in January, BBC Radio Essential Classics aired it.
Wow.
In the UK. Yeah. So they have listeners. I don't know if they have more than
So
us, but
is it kind of like you got this song and then you're basically trying to find a performer for it? Is that how it working for you?
I like to do that. Yeah. I put it up online. So I
Okay.
have there's sheet music out there, printed stuff. People are really, really doing that. So it's like J.W. Pepper's where I sell my scores.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and up on JW, if you'll see it online, you'll find it. Like I've got
See, because that's
one
when
of the pieces.
I was confused about how does this work for composers because there's such a different life of music there. You're your different tempos, different instruments. I'm like, there's no way they know how to play all of those things. But you could probably find a way. You know, but where does composers actually get their name? And then I'm like, oh, and now I'm listening to you, and I'm like, so it's you're basically putting an orchestra together and saying, hey, take this and let's get popular. I don't know, maybe.
Right. Well, that is sometimes people have managers. I don't have a manager. I
Oh, you
have
don't
a
have a manager and
publicist.
you have 100 awards. Congratulations.
Well, just yeah, my DIY as a musician.
DIY life. Let's
So
go.
yeah. So but some people have, management when they're, they've got
Yeah.
really high-end
Yeah.
management contacting. What I have found with my work is that since it is up on JW Pepper, people, orchestras, they actually will go online looking for new works. And that happened to me, the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra up in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Shout out to the
Um,
Canada.
what?
Shout out to the Canadians.
Yeah. And this conductor was, searching on J.W. Pepper. He was looking for something for bagpipes, Celtic bagpipes.
Yeah.
My piece happened to be, I had just put it up there. So I wrote Tributum for Celtic Bagpipes and Orchestra. So it's the Irish pipes and the Great Highland bagpipes with the orchestra. So the orchestra bought it. And then since I only had the score up there, which is just the part for the conductor, I didn't have any parts up there yet. I had just put it up. So you have to print out, you have to do all the PDFs of all the parts and everything,
Yeah.
and you upload those to the site. So the librarian of the orchestra contacted me and emailed me, and he said, we're going to play your piece, but can we have some parts? we need the parts. And I said, oh my goodness, I can't. It was amazing that they contacted me
Yeah.
through email and told me
Wow.
they're going to. So sometimes I get that kind of a notification that it's going to be performed. I'm part of ASCAP, so that's my
So you got
PRO, is my professional. So there's performing rights. You get a little bit of royalty from that. But I also do a lot of just searching to see where is it being performed, because I'm not always contacted.
Wow.
When my works are bought, like it's been bought in Australia and New Zealand, Tributum, the Celtic bagpipe piece, I don't know where it was played. I tried to find out, don't know. So there's a process I'm still working on.
Yeah.
How do you find these things?
Yeah.
So
okay.
my goal is to always have it performed live. I won't have it performed for public consumption.
Yeah.
for them
Yeah.
to hear it live. And obviously, digital listening to it. We have CDs. I work with Parma, the recording company. They do a lot of they do marketing for everything that we do. When it gets recorded, they put it out there in the marketing world and digital format and publicity stuff as much as they can. And then you kind of have to follow up a little bit with it. And then
Yeah.
I just keep on,
Keep on trucking.
Yes, that's right. Keep
Oh
on trucking.
my. It's so there is kind of this underground setting for the orchestra composers like yourself,
Yes.
which is
Mhm.
wow. I'm
Mhm.
learning that because I'm thinking you guys, you guys got it. Put your TV, boom, you got it. Let's go on to the next one. But wow, but you know, you've done a lot of things, and most of it, I know there's award shows you're invited to, and you go, you win, you don't win, whatever. You still, my stuff is getting out there. I love it. But I know, as a musician, it's all about the behind the scenes stuff, right? The things that make you want to do this. You recorded with ensembles like the Royal Scottish National Orchestra, and you mentioned LSO like crazy, London Symphony Orchestra. What's a moment in a rehearsal room or a recording studio that reminds you why you write for orchestra?
Uh, I'll have to say, uh, a moment when like a soloist is playing with the orchestra and they're getting it. They're really getting it. They're getting the passion in it that I felt when writing it, and their interpretation is expressed. Like the piece with the Royal Scottish National, the Sirens of the Salish Sea, the pianist Anna Kitsliana, it's hard to say her name.
That
I
sounds
got to,
hard. It sounds hard and it
yeah,
sounds beautiful at the same time.
yeah. So I got to be there for that recording in Scotland, and I got to talk to her, and her playing was just, expressive
Wow.
and meaningful. And those moments are magic. To have people understand what you're doing and interpret it that way, the way you want them, without even saying much, they just
Yeah.
get it.
Wow.
And so that's meaningful to me.
In ways like that, and you're viewing, is it sometimes also like you're watching body language as well? Is it, or is it just you're listening to them play? Because I feel like sometimes if you're like wanting them to come out with a expression, you wanted to feel it in their fingertips, like you want them to feel it in their bones.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you interpret that as well, or is it, just they're playing it well, they're playing it good, or
No, I can because because I had that classical piano training. And she's a classical pianist, Russian lady, fantastic. I know what it takes to bring that expression, how you express, and she just did it. She did
wow,
it. And obviously Davide, the violinist, was Nani Lahaina. I mean, I'm not a true violinist at all, but I'm very moderate. But he was so expressive, and you know, when
yeah,
I heard it so in the recording studio, what you have is you have the London Symphony Orchestra in a room. It was like actually in a cathedral, an old cathedral built in the 17th century or something like that. And in the recording booth, which is where I was with the producers, we're just watching a monitor,
yeah,
and they're talking to the conductor, via headphones and everything. And I'm hearing it played back through stereo. I wasn't in the actual room,
okay, it's
because I had
coming
to be in
back
the,
to you, like
yeah, so I
okay,
had to be in the recording booth. But when he started to play, it was just like, oh my gosh.
oh, wow,
Yeah, it was just like,
Like you take the
This is,
feeling, like you bagged the feeling that you had
yeah,
and you just
that,
spread it.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It was like that.
That's
Yeah,
wow.
it was a magical time. It was, and I, they're performers and they just got it right.
I was listening to a lot of your pieces. I fell in love with Polar, off of the new album. But what wanted me to bring to this question because your music often blends multiple cultural roots and genres. How do you honor these traditions without leaning on cliches? It's just like it doesn't. It's almost as it's traditional, but it's still new. It's how do you go away from it? Because no one wants to sound like anybody. I get that, but
Yeah.
how do you? When you tradition sometimes for some people believe it's same. It remains the same, and you do not remain the same. You honor these traditions, and you know it's there, and it's like, but I'm not gonna do that. That's
Wow.
how do you honor them? How do you honor the traditions? Or do you even know that you're doing it?
I not sure if I do. Maybe I do. Um, I I just work to express what I'm expressing. It's not very technical sounding,
I
but
mean, it's
you
whatever, because it's you can bring feel. This is exactly how music is to me. I know that some people are used to lyrics these days. They're used to one or four um, tones, but you can bring like we heard it in Nani Lahaina, and I want people to go back and listen. And it's beautiful, and then it's turmoil, and then it's beautiful turmoil. You can't do that by just saying a few rhymes, right? Because you have to know what the person is going through in order to reflect, right? Or some sort of dumbed down lyrics so it can sound very vague and relatable, but you can't do that with the orchestra. The feelings. I'm zoning out, but I'm just saying.
yeah.
Anyways,
I think I just dig deep. Um, like I when I start writing for orchestra, when I've gotten the piano rendition done and I start orchestrating, I start hearing things that I hear it like I really, there was a section in Nani Lahaina that I really wanted to have a very high violin sound, very high violin, but I wasn't sure where it was going to be and how I was going to have the orchestra play underneath the violinist. So I work hard to find the sound. I mess around. My husband will tell you, I'm in here forever, my studio, working on things and redoing it. It's kind of like editing. You keep doing it. You keep going over it and digging deeper. Like there's a section in that same piece that I heard it. I knew I wanted to put it in there. I wasn't sure how I was going to get there, how I was going to go from there to there with this in the middle, but I did it. And I just kept trying. Sometimes I'm trying different instrumentation. Like, well, maybe it should be more cellos here
yeah.
and taking that part there and combining it more with the horns or that kind of thing. So I do a lot of that, listening, experimenting, and just trying to find the sound that I'm hearing.
I'm thinking of this, and it reminds me of a movie called August Rush. You seen August Rush before?
No.
Well, it's about a little boy who becomes orphaned young. He's in an orphanage. Robin Williams is in this, so it's kind of, yeah. And this child is, he's listening to everything. And he's listening to everything, and he hears music, and he puts it down, and he writes it down. I need that to sound just like the wind chimes, or I need that to sound like the distance of a car horn, something like that. So I get it. That is, you know, you're in there forever because it's like, wait, hold on, that's not it. It's almost there. It's
Yeah,
boom.
exactly.
And
it's that just what you said just a minute. It's not there yet. It's almost there.
yeah.
And then you finally get there. And then the reward is when you finally hear it performed. And you go,
That's
okay,
amazing.
I was on the right track.
That's amazing. If you guys are just listening in, we have a few more questions for our guest, Nan Avant, award-winning composer, has a lot of history. He's done a lot of travels, a lot of things. We want to focus on now this new works that you got going on. Do you call it an album? Do we call it an album? Looking ahead, what upcoming projects or collaborations are you most excited about?
Well, I'm doing another recording. It's probably the recording session will be next year. So I'm excited about that.
Planning ahead.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's hard. You have a lot of time, and you have to think about it and then work on it. And I do a lot of research ahead of time, with a thematic idea, which I'll tell you about later when it's done.
Yeah.
I have this thing about too much, and I don't want to talk too much about it until I have it.
Yeah, until it's there. Yeah.
Until it's there. Yeah. So I have
it's like me. I don't celebrate birthdays early. Like, no, it's not.
No, wait for that day.
Exactly.
Yes. So I have that, and then I still want to record the other two movements of Sirens of the Salish Sea.
Nice.
I have two more. So I'm going to make sure everything's correct, and when the right opportunity comes with Parma, I'll let them know that I'm good to go. So I do that. I have there's some orchestration stuff I'm doing that I'm just kind of in depth in that stuff.
For, most of our audience are, people seeking ways to build careers, whatever genre it is. For young composers listening in today, what advice would you give about building a career that spans film, orchestra work, or even independent releases?
Okay. Well, I think for definitely musicians have many, usually they're morphing in all kinds of areas, they're teaching. That's a real standard for classical people. And then they're working on their music and their own performances or composition. And I think for a young person, if you're a composer, the film game industry is pretty great. It's especially the game. So the game industry is, I'm coming back to your other question about how does music get out there that's classical in the world? Well, the game music is really very traditionally classical.
And you mean game like video gaming?
Video game.
Video games, people. Let me tell you, that little music interlude is real orchestra music.
They do. Wow. They do use it. Like, I don't know the names of these pieces right offhand, but there's some famous stuff out there, right? And the orchestras in like Seattle Symphony, they perform that music because they want to create the audience of young people coming into the symphony. Yeah. So they perform the stuff the kids are playing. They're out there playing their game, and that music is orchestral. And so that's kind of a cool industry if you're interested in composing music and getting your music out there, making some money. and having a career. There's that. There's also audio work, editing audio, getting your ears, because we have great ears, musicians. And you can work in recording studios. You can be part of that. So you kind of keep your options open, I think. You keep your ideas open and ready to say yes when opportunities come, and see what happens. But it's out there, it's possible.
Keep on trucking. There
Yeah.
you go.
And start early. Start kids on their instrument early.
7 years old.
7. It helps. It helps. It's just
The recitals were real, people. The recitals were real.
Yes. Did you play too?
No. I'm just going up. I only know how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. Well, that's a good one. It is. That's Mozart.
Finally, when you sit down to write in the morning, what's your ritual? How do you know a piece is truly finished? How do you hope your music will mean to listeners looking back at your body of work? Like, what do you hope your music will be?
Okay. Well, when I think I'm finished, I feel it. I feel that it's finished. I can't even think if there's times that you can really go back. I don't want to have those times saying, oh, I should have done it that way. So I keep it going until it's complete in my mind,
Like complete, not tired, right? Like
no, not tired.
Like complete. Okay.
Yeah, not tired. So yeah, I just try to make sure it's finished in my heart, how I feel it. And and it like I said, deadlines are great. You got to wrap that up and be done. So I do better with, let's get this done.
Yeah.
And the complete does go along with that, So
what do you hope your music will mean to listeners?
What I hope that it'll mean to listeners?
Yeah. Your music.
That they feel the journey of it. They feel uplifted or something in their heart, something that they feel enriched. When I'm doing it, I feel enriched. I know that I feel the best when I'm writing music and orchestrating. I feel the most connected to things, I guess. So I guess it's just, I hope they feel what I feel.
Thank you, Nan Avant, for coming on QSJ Radio. For more information on Nan Avant, you can go to nanavant.com. They're also on Spotify. And if you guys want to reach out to them to get them on your show, or orchestras if you're listening in, you can reach them at, and you're also on Instagram at Nan Avant.
Yes.
Nan Avant, thank you so much. Love the music. Love the pieces. Thank you so much for coming on QSJ Radio.
Thank you, Dave. Enjoyed it immensely.
Oh, thank you so much. Now I got to go write about it. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Bye now. Avant, a composer whose music spans film, orchestra, and cultural expression. Thank you for sharing your story and your art with us today. You can find Nan's recordings and updates on her websites, streaming pages, and social media. Follow QSJ for more episodes of Digging Up the Underground, where we highlight the voices and stories shaping music today. I am Traffic Light Q, whatever you want to call me. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.